door still, but I'll just get started just to say hello to everybody. It's fantastic to see so many people. My name's Julie Quimby. I'm the volunteer manager here at the Royal Adelaide Show. My right-hand man is right up the front there. John, could you just give everyone a wave? Stand up. Yeah. This is my first year working at the Royal Adelaide Show. John has been with the volunteer program since it's begun. He's done pretty much every role, and he's in the office with me once every 2 or 3 weeks helping out. So if you get an email, it'll either be from John or myself. Likewise, I can't welcome him because he's stuck on front desk, but Josh, our receptionist, if ever you call, Josh is full of information. So if you call the Royal Adelaide Show, get Josh, ask him questions. He knows everything that's going on everywhere. Okay, just quickly before we start, also I'll let you know the toilets are over on this side towards the bar, women's are at the back, gentlemen are up the front. If you have a mobile phone, could you just check that it's on silent? That would be fantastic. And I know a few of you need to run off for buses and appointments. Please, that's fine. You can just get up and leave any time you need and just sneak right on out. Don't feel you're interrupting anything, that's okay too. Okay, so you'll all notice that on your books there is a role description booklet. I just want to let you know that's as current as I can make it at the moment. Things might change depending on what the staff let me know they need and so forth, but everything in there is good to go at the moment. And return volunteers, so people who have volunteered with us before, if you could just pop your hand up and have a bit of a wave. Excellent. So if you're new and you're interested in finding out about volunteering, people with their hands up are the best people to ask. So feel free to have a chat to them afterwards. All right, I'm just going to introduce to you now my manager, who makes everything happen at the Royal Adelaide Show, really. So this is Michelle Hocking. She is the General Manager of the Royal Adelaide Show. She really is the one that makes it happen. And Michelle's just going to have a chat to you about what's happening in 2016.
Thank you, Julie, and welcome everyone. And it is so nice to see so many familiar faces here. You keep coming back, so there must be something good about the experience you're getting. Or you think we're mad, or you know we're mad, and that's okay, yeah, sure, that's fine. To the newbies and the potential volunteers, the new volunteers for 2016, gee, I hope you stay. I hope you find what you're looking for today in the different roles. The Royal Adelaide Show this year celebrates its 241st Royal Show. The organisation was established in 1839 and the first Royal Show was in 1840. And you're doing your maths, those clever ones in the room, and saying, but how does that work? Because you're only 170, yeah, hello, thank you. In the early years there was an autumn and spring show. Thank goodness there was only one show on our watch because it's a beast. But I've got to say that in the early days, when it was an autumn and spring show, they were 4 days. You know, we have a 10-day show, which is fantastic. I recently was over in the UK and I was talking to the Yorkshire Agricultural Society, and they were telling me that they have a 3-day show. And I was doing a presentation the next day to all of their regional show people. And the CEO of the Yorkshire Society said to me, Michelle, can you strategically tell them that you do 10 days? Because I'm trying to get them to do a 4th, and they're all saying we can't do it. So, you know, I said, oh yeah, we do it really easily, a 10-day show. Well, they all fell off their perches at that point, but then straight back at me, I went across to Miami, to the Miami-Dade Fair, which is happening right now, and their fair runs for 21 days. So I fell off my perch at that point. So 10 days is good. We're happy with 10, and of course the Sydney Easter show is just finished 2 days ago, and they have a 14-day show. So all power to them. When we've packed up on the 10th day, they've still got 4 to go. And by all accounts, they've had a brilliant show. The Easter weather in Sydney was perfect, which is good, because we sincerely hope that all of our interstate royals have good shows, because if they do, the elements of the show, from show bags and carnival, if they're doing well in every state and territory, then they keep reinvesting in their product, and when they get to Adelaide, we've got the best. So you know, we really hope that in every state and territory show, they have a great show. So it's great to see so many faces, so many new faces as well. If you're like me, this will be my 9th Royal Show this year. I love it. It's a lot of hard work, but gee, it's rewarding. And the good thing about the Royal Adelaide Show is it really is owned by the community. And the minute you do something that you think might be a little bit creative but not necessarily well accepted by the community, you hear about it, which is a good thing. So by all means, Julie is going to take us through the roles and what you can be involved in this year in the show. But you know, I'm sure Julie will say to you, no idea is a bad idea. If you think of something, you have an idea, let us know. It's a two-way, you know, we're not standing up here just talking to you, we want to hear it back from you as well. What I thought I'd do is really quickly, because I know we're on a short time frame, is give you a sneak peek, so nobody else has seen this except for my colleagues in Sydney over the Easter period, of what the Royal Show advertising campaign is going to look like this year. So the creative you can see up on the screen there. Now if I just press this, it's going to work, isn't it?
You might have to turn it on because I'm supposed to be on the screen already too. So other side.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
there you go.
Next screen and then the following.
Done. Oh, first of all, I want to brag a little bit. We never enter awards, not in my time. The Royal Adelaide Show hasn't entered any awards because we don't have time. We're too busy doing the do than to talk about how good we are. But what we did last year, we entered the International Association of Fairs and Expositions based in the United States, their Fairs and Shows Awards. Little old Adelaide, we took out 4 awards, you know, and we were competing against California, Miami, you name it, Canada, you know, all countries. We took out first in outdoor promotion and also our sponsorship continuity program, which we have with IGA as our presenting partner. We got second in overall marketing campaign, and we also got third in our television animation. So before I move on, and what I want to really say is how pleased I was for our partners. We have an ad agency in WDM, and we also work with a PR company in Mercury PR. All power to them. They are small businesses here in Adelaide, South Australia, and on the world stage, they really did well. They really, really did well. So we're very pleased about that. What we're trying to do this year, very quickly, is balance out our numbers. The Royal Adelaide Show, on average, has 500,000 people come through the gates every year. But on the first 3 days of the show, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and if the weather's good, we can get anything up to 200,000 through the gates on those first 3 days. And hand on heart, the experience for mums pushing prams and for those better than 60 is not really the best experience because you've got queues at ATMs, you've got queues in bathrooms, queues everywhere. If we could shift some of those into the midweek, we think it would be a better experience for everybody coming to the show on any day of the show. Ideally, our financial controller would like me to increase numbers full stop and just keep the 200 on the first 3 days, which would be good. But the worst case scenario would be good to spread the load a little bit and get some of our public coming on that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. For example, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we can have anything from 35,000 to 55,000 on the grounds. On Friday, Saturday or Sunday, we can have up to 80,000 people on any one day on the grounds. So one of our strategies moving forward this year and into the future is to look at different ways we can entice people to come midweek. Put your thinking caps on. We don't have all the answers, so we'd be glad to have your ideas. Some of the ideas, though, at the moment is to put on children's entertainment midweek. There's always children's entertainment for the full 10 days of the show, of course there is, but put things on that are only if you come on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday or Thursday. It might be and it won't be because we've already checked and they're booked elsewhere, but for example, the Wiggles, some really high-end entertainment that appeals to the little toddlers, and aged 5 and under actually get into the show for free. So we're really trying to shift those numbers. We're also looking at supporting a charity or a program on one of those days, and it just so happens that the second Thursday in September every year is Are You OK Day, and I'm sure there'd be a lot of you in the room that know what Are You OK? It's a national organisation, and it's about asking the person next to you, family members, partners, friends, are you okay? Have a chat, and it's about suicide prevention and awareness. So we're currently working through a program where we will have cyclists coming in from Murray Bridge and Mannum. They'll all land at the Parklands, which is north of the Ferris wheel. And then at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they will parade through and parade around the main arena. On that Thursday, we will be promoting to the public to wear yellow, because yellow is the colour around Are You OK, suicide awareness and prevention, and in general mental health. So They're the sorts of things that we're looking at doing because, yes, they're the right thing to do, but also to help us shift those numbers into the midweek. Another one that we're looking at, and it would be a first for Australia, and we like being first, is about a drone championship. So either first-person view or drones, and looking at those racing around the main arena every day of the show, and then the big finale would happen on the Sunday. So we're still working through those. There's lots of regulations that you have to work through to have that happen. Another one is the Goodwood Road street art. So you're familiar with those big cement fences that we have on Goodwood Road. Many years ago through Unley Council they had a vote within the community on what's the worst looking area within the council district. And our fences on Goodwood Road come up really high on the list. So post that we put in some trees in between, so they changed a little bit, but it might be nice to also have some street art done around the theme of the Royal Show. So, and it's the Royal Show and its history, so you'll see things like the Rocket Man and those sorts of things, but a work in progress on that one. Show kiosks, and I know Julie will work through that with you in a moment. The show kiosks have been a huge success, one-stop shops for everyone that comes to the show. For those that have pre-purchased discount ride tickets and family value packs, in the past you had to go to the Rose Terrace, what we called information booths, to get those. As of last year and moving forward, there are show kiosks at every gate, and they're one-stop shops. You can buy your yellow brick road, get your discount ride coupons and your family value pack vouchers and so on, pick up your map, your lost persons wristband and so on. Okay. I'll quickly flick through here because Julie will drag me off in a moment. This is our new lock-up, so we're fun and we're bright and we're colourful. To be honest with you, this doesn't do it justice. What you're looking at the screen, it's much more impactful than that. It's a little bit dull there. The slogan is, it's a world of, and it's a world of flavour, a world of excitement. The big Goiter Stage Entertainment this year is a postcards from around the world, and so it's all keeping within that theme, a world of wonder. That's what our show poster looks like this year, so it's bursting out, lots of colour, lots of fun, and really focusing on families, young families. As a marketer for this major event, and the marketing team that work on this do a tremendous job, but gee, it's difficult because we have babies come to the Royal Show and we have, you know, those better than 90 come to the Royal Show, which is wonderful. So where do you spend your money to tell people that the Royal Show's on, and more importantly, what they can expect to see and do at the Royal Show? We will do a lot of outdoor as well, remembering we on the international stage won a gong for our outdoor campaign. So that's what the ad shell we call those, or bus stop posters. We will have a tram this year. And our outdoor, we're looking at popping out, as you see in the picture, of our outdoor programs. And in the Westfield shopping centres, so we're talking Tea Tree Plaza, Marion, and there is another one, thank you very much, West Lakes. You know, as marketers, we look at how many eyeballs actually see our advertising, and this one is off the Richter scale. It's really good advertising. We will be in cinema as well. The show magazine is a huge success, 400,000 copies delivered to households around South Australia and regionally 3 weeks out from the show, and also you can get a copy from Foodland and IGA supermarkets as well. When the distribution happens, our phones ring, people wanting more copies. And you know, you usually get the response, but I've got 2 children, and we say we'll get different highlighters because the kids are going through, get different colours because they're planning out what they're going to do at the show and what show bags they'll buy and so on and so forth. We're also running a Competitions Open campaign, 2014. We had an all-time record of 33,688 entries across 63 sections. When I say sections, I mean beef cattle, alpacas, cookery, art and craft. Huge, huge workload that goes into that, but gee, it's great to see how many South Australians and also interstate competitors that take the time to be a part of our Royal Show. To us, that is a very important part of our show. It's not just about show bags and carnival. It is about agriculture, it is about horticulture, and it's about educating these little ones, the tots, about the eggs that they got from the supermarket actually come from chickens. And the meat that they're eating, once again, that's wrapped really nicely from the supermarket, that's a cow that's running around them, you know. So just making sure they don't lose that connection of where their food's coming from. We see that as a really important part of what we do. So competition's open, there's some pictures of ads, And once again, welcome. Love to see you all back here during the show, and then in the thank you morning tea, which are really good cakes, that morning tea. But I'm hoping to see you between the 2nd and the 11th of September. Thank you very much.
Right, thank you very much. I'm pretty sure Michelle just covered off a lot of what was on this slide. That's fine. Let me just skip ahead in my notes. Okay. Beautiful. The only other thing I will mention on this slide is that, I don't know if you know, but the Royal Adelaide Show is run by the Royal Agricultural and Horticultural Society of South Australia Incorporated, and that is a non-profit organisation. The society does support two foundations, which are the Education Foundation and the Archive Foundation, and profits from the show go into supporting things such as scholarships for young people that are wanting to enter the primary industry sector, so that they want to learn more about a particular strain of farming or improve some type of machinery they want. Also, the Archive Foundation is about recording our state's really important rural history. We have an archive over there for those of you that have never been in there. It's very interesting. It's run by a lady called Marilyn, and Izzy, if you could wave your hand, I know you're here somewhere. Izzy is one of the volunteers that works in the archive across the show. If you'd like to do it again, that'd be awesome. Yep. Okay. So do check it out. It's a very important history. Yeah, and it's our state. We should be proud of it. So something I'll mention there. Right. So about the volunteer program. So the show has always had volunteers participate in some capacity. At the moment, we have around 600 judges and stewards that help out with all the different competition sectors. We mentioned the competitions earlier. Michelle, could you just wave that giant purple book that's on the corner there? So that is the collection of catalogues of competitions from the 63 categories from last year. So there's a lot. It takes a lot of people to get it together, about 600 judges and stewards. But what we didn't have before 2011 was a way in which the general public could volunteer in a general capacity. So that came about earlier. We've got a few people who've been here right from the start, which is fantastic. Yeah, so it's a way to bring other people's skills and knowledge into the Royal Adelaide Show that we might not have on hand. I'll mention that it's not only a way to build new skills, that I've mentioned up there, but it's a way to share your skills. So if you've had a lot of experience in, say, customer service, or you have a very knowledgeable background in wine, there's a couple of people up front, I know I've been talking to Michelle have, it's a way for you to share that with patrons that come to the show, with younger volunteers who are wanting to build those new skills up. So it's really great. It works two ways. I do want you to remember through here, just reading on top of that slide, have fun. Volunteering is always a choice, and we do take feedback every single day. If there's something that's not quite working for you, please let your team leader or John and I know, and we'll do our best to fix it. It's always a choice. You will form new friendships, that's guaranteed, and you will have fun. So, on with the bits and pieces. So this is new. This is part of our campaign to fulfil the national standards for volunteering in Australia. So we thought we'd develop a vision, mission and values. This has not been signed off. This will be signed off at the team leaders meeting in August. We will walk through it and see if we need to change anything. I do have copies of this over on that table next to Michelle at the end there. If you're interested, please grab a sheet on the way out. So it's just a way, it's how we want you to turn up every day. We want you to be ready to work in a team, to have fun, to respect one another, to respect all the show patrons, to be honest with us, to be committed to your roles and not let your other team members down, and really work on improving yourself and improving the people that you work with as well. So all helping each other for a good cause. So I'm quite excited about developing that with the team leaders this year. We'll see how we get on with that one in August. Right, so we have a couple of different versions of volunteering, which you'll find if you go through the application process. We have casual volunteers, full-time volunteers, and a new one this year is just straight kiosk volunteers. So casual volunteers are for people who can only commit 3 to 5 days with us at the show. Shifts All our shifts this year are going to be between 3 hours and 6 hours, depending on what particular role it is. This is just an example of some of the roles that will be out there. These roles are called casual roles because they don't need the kind of continuity that some of the permanent roles have. So you can walk in, have minimal training, get it done, have fun, and the next person can come and pick it up again. I would like to let you know that if you are planning to commit more than 5 days to the show and you want to be a full-time volunteer, of course you can still apply to do these roles as well. That's not a problem. And returning volunteers who've done roles in the past are very welcome to apply for whatever they want, regardless of how many days they're going to volunteer with us. Yeah, lovely. Okay, so full-time volunteer roles, which I think was the original status that we had. I think until a couple of years ago, Lucy, my predecessor, who was amazing, and these are big shoes to fill, had only one type of volunteer, which was 6 days, and we needed a bit more flexibility, which is where the casual came from. So these roles do require more continuity. They require greater show knowledge. You do need to be familiar with the roles. They require more training, and it means for the staff that are supporting those roles that they can just come in, give you some training on the first couple of days, and then by day 3, day 4, you're ready to run, you know what you're doing, you can keep going with it. So I'd like to reiterate as well, previous volunteers who've done these roles but can only commit to a casual capacity this year, we'll do it on a case-by-case basis, but please contact me and we'll see if we can hook you up with one of these roles if it's what you really love doing. Again, this is a sample of some of the roles which are the full-time volunteer roles. All right. And a new... Yes. Yes. Who is that? Is that you? Lovely. Excellent. Well done. It's a good photo. It's a nice photo. So this is a new type of volunteer this year. So we do like you to commit to at least half of the show if you'd like to work in a kiosk. I'll explain more about the kiosks later on, but they're quite full on. It requires a lot of show knowledge. You really have to be able to answer a whole stack of questions for all types of people across the show. I would say they sound like one of the coolest roles though. Yeah, excellent. So fantastic. So they're the 3 types of volunteers which you'll see when you go online and apply. Just tick what you'd like to do. All right. Okay, so we're going to start getting into the different types of roles. You can follow along in your booklet. It's pretty much in alphabetical order. I've just smushed a few of the slides together to save having to flip through so many slides. Before we start though, I will mention there are 2 roles at the very start here which are pre-show opportunities that aren't on the slide. So we can just read through those. One of them is new this year, which is the Exhibitor Hut, and we're looking for a couple of people to help out with, I guess, the sales team who run the exhibition pavilions. So as you can imagine, a couple of days before the show, it's just completely manic with all these people that fill up the pavilion halls with their exhibition equipment. You know, they bring in boxes and they've got trailers and trucks and everything coming in, and they need someone to help them out in what they call the Exhibitor Hut at the entry point there. So it's supporting the accountant there, it's supporting the traffic management people there, it's covering the lunch break of the people who are working there. So it's a new role, but it does sound like a lot of fun. So if it gets closer to the show and you realise, actually, during that time I can't commit, there's 1 or 2 opportunities before the show which you might be able to help out with. So that one, and the competitions volunteer on the next page, that's one that's been going for a couple of years, and I believe there's 1 or 2 ladies who have done it traditionally, and that's fine. It's to do with helping out for the prizes for that gigantic book worth of competitions. So as you can imagine, if that's the size of the book, imagine the size of the competition prizes. It's trophies, it's ribbons, it's saddle blankets, it's all sorts of crazy things. So it's helping coordinate the sponsorship team and getting all those prizes out to different places around the show that needs to happen. So crazy, but fun. That role definitely requires someone who's quite organised and yes, doesn't mind sorting through things quite a lot. Okay, so on to the administration assistant. Excellent. Right, so the administration assistant role, is anyone apart from Noel and Debbie around the corner who welcomed you, they are often in the administration area. Is that right, Debbie? Excellent. Yes, excellent. So she'd be a great person to ask on the way out what it's like working in admin. It's really the hub of our volunteer office. We have a new office this year. The last few years we were in the Derby room, cramped in a little space with a marquee at the front. We have a beautiful big new space now, well, bigger space now, down in Goyder, which is right on the corner before you go out the Ridley gates on the left-hand side. Yep, come in, grab a seat. It's going to have more space for the volunteers to check in. We'll be able to have some lockers in there, which will be great, I know. A breakout space, I'm getting a lounge put in there, which is nice. So that'll be really cool. And if you're an administration assistant, you will make sure that space is nice and tidy. So this year it's incorporating a couple of different things. It's incorporating the street parade as per normal, which is the Saypole band and all the mascots which march down the atrium every day. That lasts for about an hour. It's checking all the volunteers in and out, helping me and John do the rosters every day, which I can imagine. I'm just imagining how crazy that's going to be. You get to work the radio, which is pretty cool. So in all the kiosks, they'll have a radio. Some of our floating volunteers will have a radio as well. And if they can't quite answer a question, they'll radio it through to you in the administration office, and you'll have the website open, you'll have the media guide there, you'll have all the spreadsheets, you'll be able to answer all the questions. So new for this year as well is working with the showground team to coordinate the exhibits and ceremony celebrations, because we're right in Goyder. So there's a bit more going on with Goyder this year, which is very cool. This one is the earliest start for the show. The shift started at 8 AM and it's the latest finish for the show. So the latest finish will be 8:15 PM. All other roles finish at 8 o'clock on the dot, but this one just hangs around for an extra 15 minutes tidying up, so it's not quite so crazy when you get in the next day. Excellent. Okay. Archives. Lovely. So we've already mentioned the archives is the beautiful white building just across the street over there. It's working with Marilyn, who works in there. We need a couple of people in there to help Marilyn. It's really like an invigilation role, so it's making sure people don't take photographs of the things that are in there. They don't take food or drink in the room either, and answering quite a lot of questions about the history of the show. Marilyn does prepare a really lovely FAQ for you. I think there's a sample of it in your books, is that correct? Yeah, excellent. So she prepares a sheet like that, which is really lovely. And yeah, where am I? Yeah, nice. Okay. If you've got any questions about that, Izzy is probably the best person to ask. So there you go. That's a great rock. I really like our archive. It's got one of the old carriages from the Mad Mouse in there. It's pretty creepy. So, excellent. So next is one of the ones I've all lumped together. So this is the rural areas. The new thing this year is the Bankesse Explorers. So it's not 100% finalised yet, but I'm confident enough in it to put it in the book already. So it's hopefully replacing the farmyard walk, and it's going to have a much more educational component to it. So I'm not sure if you knew the farm walk before, but you'd get a little passport, you'd go through the different agricultural sections, and the kids would get a stamp in their book to say they've been to see the chickens, they've been to see the pigs, so forth. This is new. It was actually designed by a lady who was one of our volunteer stewards, and she took her little boy to the show and they did the farm walk, and she said, he didn't really have anything to take to school at show and tell, or to say what he'd learned about the show or what he'd learned about the animals. And so she designed this gigantic 8-page, is it? Yes, 8-page book to go inside the show magazine. So everyone's going to get it, which is great. And it's going to have information and activities and all sorts of different things. So that's the new farm walk, is the Explorers, which will be great. So volunteer roles, we think, will probably be in a similar capacity to maybe stamping different sections of that around the showground, maybe handing out some information leaflets on the different sections, but it's a bit of a work in progress. Kind of excited about it though. So good program. And then the Farmyard Nursery and the Learning Centre is right in the middle of your book, so where the staples are. And just quickly, they're both basically the same. They're in Farm Gap Nursery's over there, Learning Centre's over there, and we need people to encourage people to wash their hands after handling the animals, which I know sounds really boring, but it's very important. It's important. This year, we're hoping to make it a bit more exciting. I understand in the past it's been one of the duller jobs for volunteers. We're trying to make it a bit more exciting, so I'm working at the moment on getting bubble machines installed across the top of the taps, because kids go crazy for bubbles. So if they see the bubbles, they might go over and wash their hands a bit more than having to tell them to, which would be great. So the job this year will not only be encouraging people to wash their hands, but probably monitoring the bubble situation as well. So why not?
It's not the kids, it's the adults.
Yeah, it's the adults most of the time, and they're the ones that don't tell my kid to wash their hands. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so we're trying to make it a bit easier. We tried stickers once, and then stickers ended up all over the showground, stuck on the road, and then the showground, the venue management team went a bit nuts at us, so we need to think of something else. I like bubbles. Right, okay, Break Squad. Break Squad is a casual role. It's really for people who are happy to do anything and everything. A lot of learning on the job with this one, and it's fun. You won't get bored because you'll be doing something different every day that you're around, which is great. It starts at 9:30 in the morning. It'll go through till 8 in the evening, so the end of when we finish. I'd like to say you're not just covering breaks though. It'll be if someone calls up last minute and is ill, or if something happens and they can't make it, you might be asked to fill in an entire shift for someone as well. So it's a really jump in and just love whatever you end up doing. So that's great. Feedback is great for this one because it lets us know things which people who've been doing it for a while might not see. So we really appreciate people who get involved in Break Squad. You'll be all over the showground. So if it's your first year, it's probably a really good one because you'll get a good taste for different activities all over the place. Yeah, that's all that one. Excellent. Yeah, being organised, loving to meet people all the time are quite important for that role. So, right along. Okay, this is another one I've jammed in together. Oh, and I put a small S at the end of assistance. That was a typo. Never mind. Right. So they're fairly similar. I'll talk about them together. The Cellar Door is the next one along in your little book. Cellar Door, actually no, I'll start with olive oil because that's the morning. So in the same place, it's in the same pavilion every day. Olive oil starts in the morning. There are 3 sessions and they're tasting sessions. So the person will set up the olive oil cups at the start of each session. There are 40 people that are go into this session each time. It's limited, so they usually line up and wait. That's a tasting experience. The role is to assist with setting up and tidying up afterwards. It'll be one of those roles where it's quite busy and then you get to chill out while the actual session is going on. And then it's quite busy again. So it's sort of a peak and trough role. In the afternoon, in that space, it becomes the Cellar Door tasting experience. And that offers 6 20-minute educational wine tastings. They start every hour at 1:30. The last one at 6:30 is actually a beer tasting, so it's wine, and then beer at the end of the day. Again, it's limited to 40 people, and again, it's setting up the wine flyers, or whatever you would like to call them, the little tasters. You'll be working with the people who run that quite closely, so being organised is quite helpful, and being friendly is essential for that as well. Excellent. Has anyone here done this before? Yeah, beautiful. Any other hints or tips you could give about this role? Okay, for the break times? Yeah, excellent. And how about over there? Do you have any?
It's actually quite straightforward.
Yep. Yeah, nice. Oh, right, excellent. Did everyone hear that? Okay. So I'll just say that out loud. Olive oil tends not to be as popular as the wine, so some of your job might be out the front spruiking, getting people in the door. So excellent, be friendly, good stuff. No, yeah, fair enough. The midweek times, yeah, excellent. Okay, commercial exhibitor attendant. Yes, that's our commercial exhibits, and yes, it's crazy busy. Lots of stuff going on, which is why we have. Pardon?
That one's mad.
Yeah, that one's mad. Excellent. So this one will have a desk. It's a sitting down role because you'll be at an information desk and people will usually approach you. It's helping people find what they want to find in the exhibitor hall. Because they're so massive, because there's so much going on, it can be overwhelming. So you'll get questions like, you know, where are Sally's sarongs? I heard they were here this year. I saw on Facebook they were here. Where do I find them? And pointing them out in the right direction. Or someone might come up to you and say, hey, is anyone selling solar panels this year? Then you'd have to help them find out if there's any places that are selling solar panels. We will give you plenty of information about where the exhibitors are and who is there before the show. You'll have it on you at the show as well. So the more pre-reading you do, the better with this role. It's very good. Yeah, okay, there was a hot tip just there. So letting people who are looking for things, letting them, identifying to them where the signage is in the building. So all the rows are marked with letters and numbers and just pointing that out to them and they might be able to find themselves as well. That can get very busy on the weekends in here. This one really you need to have a good knowledge of exhibitors, you need to be friendly and helpful, and you need to be able to stay calm under pressure because it can get quite busy in there. So if you get flustered quite easily, it might not be the role for you. Yeah, they're really common question for I think all the positions at the show. If you're a volunteer, I think one of the most common questions you'll get asked are where are the bathrooms, no matter where you are, whether you're at the commercial exhibition attendant, whether you're in a kiosk. Yes, sorry, question?
One thing that wasn't much spoken about, there is a prayer room.
Yes, so we have a multi-religious prayer room as well on site. So when you're a volunteer, you'll all get maps and you'll all have the chance and opportunity to find out where all these bits and pieces are across the showground, whether it's the prayer room, the baby change room, where I can hire a stroller, where I can get a wheelchair from, where I can hold my packages, etc., etc. Yes, Wi-Fi.
The question that came up to me a few times too is smoke-free zones.
Oh, the smoking zones? Yeah, so, yeah, no, that's okay. So there are smoking zones across the show as well. Again, that's one of the things that'll all be on your maps. Yep, yeah, absolutely. And it should be on their maps as well. So if they have a few things they're wanting to find, direct them to a show kiosk. Show kiosk will give them a map and it will have everything on it for them. That's correct, isn't it? Yes, perfect. Lovely.
It's a good idea to have a walk around first and translate in your mind what's on a map into what it looks like.
Yeah, look, that's a really good point up the front here. We just had a comment saying it's a really good idea to do a walk around the show and visualise where everything is on the map while you've got it with you. That's one of the really important reasons why we do the induction day as well, because you do get an orientation and you will have someone who's been a volunteer at the show before take you around and point out everything and find out all those usual FAQs. Hopefully will get answered for you, and then you can inform other people that come along to the show, which is quite good. So this is a role we have at the show. It's a commercial photographer. I put it down as a full-time position because that's what it has been previously. I am happy to make this a casual role actually, and I'm happy to have a couple of people do it. Really what we'd like is some people to take a photo of every single exhibitor at the showground, because they like to have it for their records, we like to have it for our records. Yeah, so there's quite a number to take a photo of. Yep. Oh, do I? Okay. Yeah, good. So I hadn't made my mind up between there and there, so I'm happy to make it casual if that's what it ends up being. Yeah, so with this, you do need to know how to work the software programs on the computer. It's best if this role is done in the first few days of the show. So if this role is completed early on, then it means the stock levels are nice and high in the pavilion hall. Their stores look really full, they're not that crazy messy yet, and it's best to get it done in the morning also. So I prefer to have someone available for the start of the show and in the morning sessions before it gets crazy busy and messy and you can't get through to take a clear photo. But yeah, that's an important one for us to have for our records. Okay, derby room attendant. So this role is combining lost property and the competition ribbons. Yes, lost property at show is a bit nuts by the sound of it. You can imagine there's so many kids that drop things everywhere. It gets a bit full on. So this year, I don't think Anna's here. Is Anna here? No. Oh, hi. So, a volunteer named Anna and her partner are doing an incredible job for us and creating a database which we can use in the lost property room. So this will be much easier to input things and log things that are received as lost property. So, you know, if you're a volunteer and you find XYZ and it's in the show kiosk, it gets taken to lost property, it gets recorded in this database, and then when people come up, it's much easier to search to see if it's been received or not. So this year, fingers crossed, there'll be a winner. So I'm really looking forward to having that work. Of course, valuables go straight to the police station. We have a police presence on site at the show. It is important you know how to use a computer, and I want to make it very clear that you need to be accurate in your data input with this one. So if you are commonly doing typos or spelling errors, maybe not the best role. Part of this role also is assisting with the competition ribbons. So the role before the show gives out all the ribbons to all the exhibitors, all the competitors and judges and stewards, but they often lose bits and pieces. And all of a sudden someone will come running up to the derby room and say, I need 5 sheep ribbons desperately because they're in the ring right now and I need to have it back there in 5 minutes. So this person's role is to also keep the giant cupboards full of ribbon prizes nice and neat and in alphabetical order, so they can be systematically taken out and recorded and everything stays nice and tidy. The organised part of me really likes this role. Okay, entry gate attendants. So we have lovely people that stand out the front of the show and hand out lost ribbon bands to families that are coming in. They hand out lost ribbon bands to people that are escorting vulnerable persons. We also have people at the front who need to direct people who might be standing in the wrong queue. So quite often we'll get this gigantic queue and they can't see the front of what's going on, and it turns out they're waiting in a ticket queue and they've actually pre-purchased their tickets. So you can help direct them just straight into the gate. Just makes managing that outdoor area at the really busy gates a bit easier. 3 of the gates get super busy, so the Ridley Gate gets really busy when the buses come. The gate down the back here, Leader Street Gate, gets really busy when the tram comes, and then the Railway Gate gets super busy when the train comes. So it'll often be big peaks, lots of people getting off buses, public transport, and then it might calm down a little bit. So what I'd really like this role to do is I'd really like this role to be quite an active role. So I have this vision of happy volunteers sort of at the front, maybe, you know, singing, dancing, being quite happy, approaching people and saying, hey, how you doing? Have a great show. You got a little one, here, have a wristband. And then just killing the time by, I don't know, doing a rap or something, whatever you want to do. So I kind of want this to make this role your own. It's a casual role. Yeah, there you go. It's a casual role. It's really easy to do drop in, drop out, but I do need you to be proactive and I do need you to be happy to approach people. That's all I have to say on that role. Okay. Quilting exhibition. Lovely. So, the quilting exhibit is in the Duncan Gallery, which is between the 2 crazy busy pavilions just off of the atrium. It's an invigilation role similar to what's on at Archive. So again, it's could you please not touch this exhibit, no food or drink. They are allowed to take photos in here though, so that's cool too. There will be, I guess, an attendant, so one of the judges or stewards will be an attendant. If there's any questions you aren't able to answer, feel free to direct patrons to the person in charge there. That's great, it's quite a straightforward role. It seems to be quite a popular role too, by the sound of things. Has anyone here done this before? Yeah, nice, yeah, quite a few people. Excellent. Lovely. Okay. Moving right along. Wow, we're already at Rooftop Tour, guys. Crazy talk. Okay. Rooftop Tour guides. I'm not sure if anyone who's new here knows, but the Royal Adelaide Showground is actually a power station. We have enough solar panels to classify as a power station, which is pretty exciting, I think. So we have groups of volunteers. They work in teams of 2, and they take people up a set of industrial stairs on top of Goida, and then over a catwalk and up more industrial stairs. to a big plain viewing platform where you can see the solar panels on top of the big roof, and you get to see our beehives. So we have a couple of beehives up on the roof as well. Yes. Don't take this role if you're afraid of heights. Don't do it. There's quite a few serious things to this role though. So there's quite a bit of work health and safety that needs to be trained with this role prior. So on the induction days, you'll be staying around for an extra hour or so to learn about those rules. So things like, you know, no high heels. The doors have to be closed after you before and so people don't follow you up unescorted. They go in groups of 2 because there's one person at the back and one person at the front, so everyone stays nice and together. Your main purpose of this role though is to inform patrons that come to the show about the solar panels and about bees. So the important roles of honeybees in the production and generation of crops. I learned a really cool fact the other day that 89% of crops that are consumed by humans are pollinated by bees. So, and a lot of them are dying, so we're doing our little bit here at Showground to keep that going. One thing I will mention to anyone who has done this role before and wants to do it again, John and I have had a little chat, and we're thinking of popping in an extra tour, so we're thinking of having 5 tours per day. So if anyone's done this role before and they'd like to have a chat about that, give John a right buzz. Excellent. Okay. Someone's in a photo. There we go. Okay, Secretary's Office Liaison. There we go. Sorry, my pages are back to front. Okay, so this role in the past has been known as a runner. This role has got a lot of walking in it. So yeah, you need to be able to walk at least 10 kilometres a day, I reckon, in this role. Do you reckon? It's pretty big. It's like if you go up and back, you've done okay. So you've got to be able to do it lots and lots of time on your feet. This person is the really go-to between everyone on the showgrounds. So you'll be based between the volunteer office down in Goyder that I pointed out earlier and the secretary's office where Michelle is based really, which is just at the end, the big fancy old building at the end of the arena. You need to be able to carry packages, you need to be able to deliver messages, you need to be able to run competition results between various judging buildings around the grounds as well. And every morning you'll be delivering newsletters to all our exhibitors. So pushing a trolley around and bits and pieces. The mornings are the busiest for this role. It tends to ticker off a bit in the afternoon, I've been told. This is my first year doing this, so I'm only going by what feedback I've seen before. Yeah, okay. Yeah, afternoon rolls are a bit cruisier. Okay, because the mornings can be a bit busier. Apparently we get lots of things from calls from the paid service staff that run the gates. Like, oh, I forgot my tickets, or oh, I forgot to bring XYZ with me, and so you're running bits and pieces out all the time. I think it sounds like quite a fun role, actually. But anyway. Okay. So this is the big one. This takes up 2 pages in your book. So and for people who volunteered before, this is important for you guys because there are quite a few changes to this role. So last year was the first year that we, as the show and volunteers, took over the kiosk desks altogether. So, yeah, what can I say? Right, how to start this conversation. Okay, so last year it did, these kiosks did all the information booths. Michelle mentioned they're one-stop shops, which they certainly are. The difference this year is based on feedback. There was quite a lot of confusion with volunteers having to handle cash and to do the yellow brick road at the same time. It all got a bit much. So what's happening this year, based on that feedback, is the yellow brick road are being sold, just the yellow brick road are being sold by paid service staff, which will sit in the booth with you. So it'll be paid service staff, volunteers doing everything else. So volunteers will be doing information, they'll be scanning still the return tickets, they'll be scanning the ride coupons, discount ride coupons, that's the word I'm looking for, the family value packs and the child value packs. Everything else going on is with the volunteers still, but we will have paid staff to do the sales of the yellow brick road bags. And that's mainly because everywhere else in the show, people who sell show bags are paid staff. And I can't have Like, it's not good practice to have volunteers doing a role which is a paid position elsewhere. It just doesn't make sense. Yes. Yes, of course you can.
That one down by
The dog pavilion, is it being moved? Yes, yes, it's being moved. So last year we had some problems with the show kiosk down near the carnival. It was right next to the carnival and it was really noisy and you couldn't hear anything. So that kiosk is being moved into the dog pavilion itself. So I think one side will be quite busy, quite noisy still, because the carnival's just loud. They all blast their music and try and make it fun and exciting for people to come in. But the other side should be fine. And I'm planning on putting the sales service people off that noisy window. The other thing I will say is that the actual booths are sort of merging into being more conformed. So this year we're getting 3 new booths done and they'll all be laid out exactly the same inside. Next year we've got the money to do the last 3, so there's 6 altogether. Every single booth will open at 9 and every booth will close at 10. All our volunteer shifts will finish at 8, regardless of where it is in the showground. So last year apparently some closed at 6, some closed at 7. I think one stayed open until 8 at some point in time, uniform right across the showground. We will man the booths from 9 till 8. The service staff member that's being paid will take over from 8 till 10. So they should pay attention to what you're doing because they're going to have to doing your roles for the last 2 hours. So, yeah. So there's a few more changes in here. This is one of the most interesting roles. Give it a read. If you do have any questions, give John or I a buzz. And we'll be happy to talk you through it. Not everything in here is completely 100% signed off yet. Did you have a question, sorry?
Yeah, one quick question. It says here about the return ticket services
yep.
done by the volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that involves money as well. What happens in that situation?
Does it? Is it just...
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I didn't know that. But my understanding is that all cash is being handled by the paid service staff. Yeah, no, sorry. Yeah, beg your pardon.
So take that one out.
Yeah, take that one out. Excellent. Lovely. I've just popped this slide in to show you the structure of how it will work in the kiosk in case, especially, this is really for people. Oh, sorry, beg your pardon. You have a question? Mm-hmm. Again, I don't think that's been decided how the return tickets are going to work yet. I think when I talked to Hayley, who's the finance manager, I can see why she had the photographs done, so they can't just buy a return ticket and give it out to whoever to come in cheaper. But she knows it wasn't very well received, so I think Hayley is still working through that. I do believe though if that's part of the cash process, then we can just leave that with the service staff people. But if anything comes to light, I'll of course let you know at the inductions closer to the date. We'll get it all worked out. I think when I started in February, I think the vibe I got was that a lot of decisions had been made to change, but they hadn't quite worked out how it was going to be executed. So that's why I made this. So I've actually put my foot down on a few things and said, look, if we're going to have paid service staff in working with my volunteers, they need to be able to work closely with my team to know what's going on. Also as part of that, we have a paid position as the kiosk coordinator, and last year that person had nothing really to do with our team. I've decided that I'd really like that person working closely with John and I, so they now work with us, and they're going to be part of our volunteer team really as well. So if you're working in a kiosk, so they sound like such a massive deal, and I don't want to scare anyone who's new and this thing just sounds like madness. They're actually really fun. People come to you all the time. You give out lots of information. There's just a lot of changes I need to let people know about this year. That's really all. So, yes.
Can I just ask, are you thinking at all of pre-packing some of the overgrown bags before the show starts?
Yes, so the question down the front was, are we thinking of pre-packing yellow brick road bags before the show starts? The answer is yes. We're still going to have a yellow brick road HQ, which is just a giant shipping container full of yellow brick road bags shoved out by the Kidman gate, and we'll have some volunteers sorting those out beforehand as well, probably, yes. It's not in the book because it hasn't been confirmed, but my hunch is that needs to happen. Yeah.
Well, where would the fun be in that?
Sorry, what was
Where
it?
would the fun be?
The fun be? Oh, not having chaos? Yeah.
No, I mean, you know, if you just get one at the gate, then you're not having fun going.
Oh, no. No. So they're just pre-packaged because they get a map put in there every day and everything that gets done,
okay.
and then they get delivered to the kiosks for sales.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's all good. Yeah, no, sorry, no, beg your pardon. No, that defeats the purpose of the yellow road bag, right? So the kiosk coordinator is going to be working on our team. They will be looking after the service staff that are paid and after the volunteers as well as a team leader and John and I, which is quite good. I think there was something else I wanted to mention on that. Oh, sorry, just if you're a volunteer, the paid service staff member, I've got Weslow there, but it's not Weslow because they've been, what's the word? Change contractors, thank you very much. Yes, so it'll be someone else. We're now referring to them as service staff. They don't supervise you. Your supervisors are your team leaders and the kiosk coordinator should you need anything else that the team leaders can't help you with. Okay? That's, I think, the only other thing I wanted to mention on that. I think what's nice about this is it's finally being drawn into all one team, not quite so bits and pieces, which is looking quite good. Moving on from the massive thing that is show kiosks. Right. Showbag pavilion, back to fun. Back to lots of fun. Right. Okay, so this is a really popular role with our volunteers by the sound of things. The main thing you need to do with this role is be familiar with where all the show bags are located. Yeah, I'm going to make it casual. Yeah, because I think I want to make it casual if you're committed to doing prelim. So if you're willing to sort of memorise a little bit of where everything is around the showground, and you can do this role. Not around the showground, sorry, in the showbag pavilion. So it's a crazy place as it is, the showbag pavilion. If you've got 6 kids hanging off of you, all screaming to go and get Elmo and get Power Rangers or whatever. Dates me a bit. Frozen showbag, there we go. Then mum and dad just want to get in there, find what they need and run away again as quickly as possible. So your position is to help them find what they need. Yeah. So we just had a comment down there that there's someone who works with us every year who apparently knows where everything is off the drop of a hat. Right. That person would be a great person to buddy up with in your first few days if you knew. So yeah, I'll try and put them together. Pardon? Every showbag possible. That's good to know. This role is super noisy. It's noisy in that hall. There's screaming, there's laughing, there's shouting. Yeah, so you need to be able to put up with lots of noise. I don't want to be judgmental, but if you have hearing aids, you might find a difficulty there. It's quite echoey, and I understand that having hearing aids can make amplified sound even harder to hear. Yeah, so there is lots of face-to-face contact with this, lots of talking. Again, it's a sit-down, as you can see, so it's a sit-down role, which is quite helpful. Friday and Saturday are particularly busy, so we're thinking this year of integrating an extra person who will not be, because they won't physically fit at the desk, to have another person floating around with the clipboard and helping people as well. So that's a showback. Stagehand, a new role for this year, and the cute little pets are there because it's in the pet centre. So the pet centre is, it has a stage in the middle of it. And in the past, they've had things such as the husky choirs. They've had training for, like, examples of dog training and things like that. So it's quite a fun place. Lots of families like visiting it. And they need someone to help out with just changing the stage over every now and again, making sure things run to schedule. It's a great opportunity to get experience if events and shows are something you're interested in pursuing. It's a great place to get experience. So, it's a nice new one. Oh, that one, it's full-time because of consistency. So again, it's one person really who's running it the whole time of the show, and it's their first year doing the show every year, if that makes sense. So it's a whole new schedule. So we really like consistency in that role. So the person just has to train them once or twice and then can help out the rest of the time. Okay. Tech Centre Attendant, again, this is another new role. It's similar to the other invigilation roles. It's making sure that people don't touch things that aren't meant to be touched. Again, they can have photos taken in this one. There will be lots of face-to-face inquiries with this one, people wanting to find bits and pieces. It's kind of a combination of what happens in the quilting exhibition and what happens in the showback pavilion, sort of mashed in together. So this is a nice new one, and again, we'd like a full-time person just to get that familiarisation with what's going on. Okay, Yellow Brick Road Attendant. So it's not selling the bag, it's doing the stamping stations and giving out bits and pieces at a couple of the stops. So it's quite easy, it's a casual role. This is probably where we'll put the people who do bag prep, I think, as well. Yeah, it's quite easy. It finishes a bit earlier in the day than some of the other places because the Yellow Brick Road shuts down earlier every night. It's more of a family thing than a late night thing. Okay, team leaders and volunteer coordinators. I'll talk a little bit about team leaders before I introduce John. So team leaders are people who have volunteered 2 or more years with us and they're really familiar with the show. If you're a team leader, can you pop your hand up? Beautiful, lovely. A couple of them are here. We're looking for more team leaders because that would be great to have more people on hand to share their skills and knowledge. It does require a high level of walking, I'm told, which is quite important to note. And so if you've been with us for 2 years or more and you think you'd make a good mentor for new people coming along to the show, if you can handle lots of inquiries, if you're good at problem solving, we'd love to hear from you. There is a interview process that you do for this. I can just do it over the phone with a chat. If not, come in for a cup of tea because I'm always up for that. Right, I'll hand you over to John because John would like to have a quick chat to you about a new position, which is the volunteer coordinator.
Thank you.
Hi everyone. I'd like to ask the team leaders from previous years to think about a volunteer coordinator role because I can't do 8 to 8 for 10 days. So what I envisage is that I'll do half a day and then the next person will take over and do the other half of the day. So we might actually want maybe 2 people because we're not allowed to have do a full 10 days. Everyone has to have a break. So we'll need to have an extra person as well. So think about that if you've been a team leader. If you've not been a team leader and you've been for say 2 or 3 years, let us know and we can think about whether you'd be suitable for that role as well. And the most important thing that Julie probably hasn't mentioned is when someone asks you a question, you never say, I don't know. If you don't know, you find out, and then the next time you ask, you'll know. Because I can guarantee you'll never be asked one question once. You'll be asked 10, 20, 50 times. Where's the toilets? Where's the ATMs? Where's the hot dog man? All sorts of things like that. And as someone already said, the best thing to do is, if you have a little bit of a break, just go for a walk around the place and see where things are, and that's probably the best way to learn.
Thanks very much. Yeah, that'd be good. And it'd be good to be mentored by someone who's been doing it for so long and knows so much about the place. I'm certainly learning a lot from John as it is. I just thought I'd let you know also the team leader workshop will be on the 20th of August, which is a Saturday. It's a day where we develop leadership skills. We might have someone in to do some training with us, and it's usually quite fun by the sound of things. So I know I'm running a bit over, so if you had a bus to catch, like I said before, please don't be afraid to run off. You can always catch up with me another day and give me a buzz. Right, so what we will give you if you commit to working with us. So, as a casual volunteer, there's just a little bit of a difference in things you'll get between casual and full-time volunteers. You'll get an entry pass for each day that you're involved with the show. You'll get, at the moment it's 1 polo shirt and hat. We might give you 2 depending on how our budget goes. You'll get a meal voucher for every day you're at the show as well. If you do a couple of shifts, we'll probably give you 2. We're quite nice like that because we don't want anyone to be out of pocket for volunteering with us. You'll get free parking at Netball Stadium, which is on Railway Terrace. And then you get a shuttle bus over to the show. So you'll get a little ticket to put on your car so you can get into the car park for free and get a shuttle bus over here. We will review your feedback every day. Oh, sorry, yes?
Have you ever looked into if anyone buys show tickets and stuff that in public transport?
Yeah, so that was in the notes from last year, and so the question was, what about people who take public transport and have to pay for public transport to get here versus people who drive and then get free parking? It's not something that Lucy ever found a solution to. I must admit I haven't looked into it myself just yet. I don't quite know what the answer will be, but we can have a try. That might be a conversation with our sponsorship manager, Karen, just to see what we can work out. Not sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Lucy was. It's in Lucy's handover notes to me, but she didn't get a chance to do anything about it. So it's in my handover notes, and I haven't looked into it yet. But it is on my radar to have a conversation with our sponsorship manager, Karen. She usually deals with our corporate entities and so forth. So it's in there as something that might be possible, but I don't want to promise anything. I understand that it would make sense, so we'll see what we can do. Yeah. Hi.
Football, crows that pay the government money to have free transport.
There you go.
And they subsidise, they put extra on the ticket to go into the ground to subsidise for public transport.
There you go. So I don't know if you heard that up the back, but that was...
Actually looked into it.
Okay.
We've had a discussion with the government about 4 years ago now, and what we looked at was exactly like Football Express. So if you've got your football ticket, you can hop on any one of the Football Express to get in for free. You're exactly right. What they do, any bus, and as you know, you would imagine, there's no such thing as a free ride or a free lunch. So what happened there was the football clubs have had to have paid that and get sponsorship to pay for them. The number that we would have had to have come up with to subsidise that was $300,000.
Oh, wow.
So for us as an organisation to get $300,000 to allow show-going public to ride for free as part of their entry ticket was just so unreasonable. So we decided not to do that. Volunteers only would be lovely. So that's why we do have the free parking for volunteers, but we can't do much about the public transport. That's a challenge. It would be nice to have, but not something we can afford to do. And you're right, they put up the price of their tickets and also the price of parking. So it was an extra $2 on every car that was parked at football to cover that cost that they had to pay.
Teachers and students will still get their public transport discount.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. It must be lovely. What a big community.
Yeah. Yeah.
There are things called community tickets, which is issued by the government for pensioners between hours if they're volunteering. So maybe you should look into that. It's called community tickets.
I'll look into it. Thank you. You've got a pen. So we'll write that one down and see if we can do something around that. At the back there, sorry?
I don't want to be driving a car somewhere, you're using fuel.
Yeah, that's
You've got depreciation, you've got legislation.
Yes.
Perhaps if we do volunteer in this, perhaps we would be desperately poor. We just carry that as part of our contribution to the show.
And it'd be nice if we could get have no out-of-pocket expense for people, but there's always something, right? Whether it's fuel or yes, that's it.
Paid locker system. It wasn't clearly stated how to use it, and there was lots of frustration with the public as far as using those lockers because it looks like, last year from memory to say like it was $2, but evidently every time they opened it they had to put money.
Yeah, okay.
It was very confusing. A lot of people.
Yeah, so that's a really interesting one. We just had a comment about lockers and a common thing that came up for people. That's a really good one to put on your daily feedback forms to see if we can improve the signage over the course of the show. So if we know there's a constant problem, we can possibly get the venue management team to try and put some better signage and instructions on the side of the lockers or something, because if it's a constant problem, it's going to be a constant problem this year too. So we'll see if we can't get something about that improved. Oh no, we will now that you've told us, but if during the show, if that had come up in a daily feedback, that would have been great, because we could have fixed it at the time. So no, we'll do it now. But yes, that's an example of what would have been great on your daily feedback forms.
It has been reported so many times.
Oh, has it?
And there's supposed to be someone sitting at the desk, but they're never there. People are never there.
Okay, Michelle's taken a note, we'll get it to venue.
We should say that is a commercial exhibitor as well. So that is a business actually making money at the show. So what we'll do is pass that information on to the commercial staff that actually would have him sign a lease, him or her I should say, to actually be at the show. So we'll pass that on that way as well.
It was huge.
You know, because people, I said to them, well, you know, see them, and they said it's just not worth it. And they're just putting money into it.
No.
Huge.
I just think it's
Oh yeah, no, it's not good enough.
And we don't want that for the show.
No, exactly. No, we'll pass it.
But that's been going on for years.
I might hold any questions just till the end because I know I'm already running over time and people are having to get buses, so I'll try and get through a little bit more information on this for now. Right. Okay. I might just mention, while I've got this here, before I change pages, there's some information in your booklets at the back about breaks during the show, depending on how long your shift is. It depends on what kind of break you get. It's still quite flexible. I've just written that in there for now as a bit of a guide. We have tea and coffee areas scattered for volunteers throughout the show. There's one right across here, upstairs at what is usually the office for the Wavell Showground, what's it called? The Farmers Market. That's the word I'm looking for, the Farmers Market. And there's the one down at Quota. Obviously, we'll probably have tea and coffee facilities in the Derby room still. So you can go to the nearest one to you and just grab a tea and coffee when you have a 15-minute break or half an hour break. Lovely. Sorry, I know I'm running over. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so full-time volunteers and kiosk volunteers, you'll get a free pass to the entire show, which is great. You'll get 2 polo shirts. You'll be able to bring a family member for free one day as well, as our little thank you to you. You get all the other things that I've just gone through on the other one, including meal vouchers, free parking, and the volunteer and exhibitor lounge is just off of our volunteer office now. So that's where I'm getting the lounge put in. It's going to be a bit nice. Okay. There's anything else to mention on that? So, our expectations on you. John's already touched on this, so thank you, that's excellent. Our expectation is that you're always friendly, helpful and have a smile. So you're there representing the show and you're there to help patrons. We'd love you to be friendly and approachable. Also, don't be afraid to approach people if you think they look a bit bewildered or lost. Feel free to go and help them out. As John mentioned, never say I don't know. Always try and find out. If you don't know the answer straight away, ask another one of your volunteers. If they don't know the answer straight away, find someone with a radio. We can get through to the volunteer office and we'll find the answer for you. Or find your team leader, or find the kiosk coordinator. There's plenty of people that you can ask to find out an answer for. If you're not sure about an answer, always seek assistance and always act within your role description. So we don't want people to have to do more than they've signed up to do, because sometimes that can not be fun for everybody. Do what you have agreed to do and do it in a reliable manner for the benefit of your colleagues as well. So, if you aren't enjoying your role, I do need you to speak up. Let us know, whether that be to your team leader, to John or I, or whoever is John's mentor at the time. Because we can change it. If you don't like the position you're in, maybe we can find you something else to do. Or if something's not quite working, we need that feedback so we can change it. We need you to be accountable for your actions, and we need you to be courteous and respectful to everyone in there. So that goes back to the mission and values, which I mentioned at the start of the day, which I do have copies of on the end of that desk. Excellent. Lovely. Moving right along, we're almost there, people. Okay, what next? Big important stuff. Right, as of this morning, I got our IT guide to change the website. So now you can jump on theshow.com.au, click on the volunteering and employment page, and from there you can go through to what's called myvolunteerpage.com. All our sign up will be online this year. If you are unable to use a computer, please do let us know, and I do have a manual form. We do prefer you do it yourself online though. It is easy. Give yourself about 10 minutes. If you can't do it, that's okay. It just means that we manually enter it, and then there's room for error and stuff like that. So if you can do it yourself, that would be super. Give yourself about 10 minutes to get it done. It starts off by putting in a username. I just use my name. I use Julie Quimby, and then entering your email address. From there, you click through to a page where you need to put down your contact information. We definitely need your date of birth for our insurance purposes. So I know it seems odd putting your birth date in, but we need it for our insurance purposes. After you've done your contact information, it goes down to general availability. You need to put this in. It doesn't contract you to doing those particular dates or times. It's just so that when we're planning, we get an idea of when people are available at this early stage. So it's what days you're available, how long you're available for on those days. You keep scrolling down, it goes through your qualifications, your personal details. There are some health questions which we need to know, which helps us place you in the right spot. And then you save that page and go over, and then we ask for referees, work experience, and your emergency contacts. It asks for some qualifications there as well. We don't need a CV, just a brief listing if you think it's useful and relevant. Give yourself about 10 minutes to do the online application form. Yeah, there we go, next page. There we go, that's not a worry. So at the early stage, if you're a new volunteer, you don't need the police certificate straight away. You only really need it after you've done the interview and been accepted. So applications will close on the 11th of May this year for new volunteers. So go to the website, follow the prompts. Interviews will be on the 31st and the 1st of June. I need you to book your own, so I need you to give me a call or an email and book that slot in. It'll take 15 minutes to do the actual interview on those days, but please give yourself about 45 minutes to an hour, because not only will we have a bit of a chat for 15 minutes about what roles you might be suitable for and your suitability, but we'll also get you to try on the volunteer uniform so he knows what size polo t-shirt to order for you and so forth. Okay, notifications are sent out the following week. After that, if you've been accepted, you need to go and get a National Police clearance. We have a phone number, so that means it's free for you. There's instructions on the site once you've been accepted, but you'll need to get the forms, fill it in, get your identification certified. Yep. Yep. Yes, so the question was, if I've already got a valid police clearance from a different lot of volunteering, can I use it for this one too? Yes, you can. It needs to be valid through the duration of the show, so it needs to be valid till the end of September, basically. I need to cite it though. So you keep the original, I just need to cite it and take a photocopy of it, not a problem. Yes, so if you go ahead and pay to get a police certificate done, we can't reimburse you because we have the phone number. It's not in my budget, sorry. If you have any questions about the police certificate when you get there, let me know. Then the induction sessions, so our training sessions are on the 26th and 27th. That's a Friday and Saturday. Everyone does this, right up to our CEO. So every year, just one of them. Yeah, just one of those days. Everyone does them, including the CEO, everybody. If you're... No, it's not a full day. No. What was the question? Yes. So for new volunteers, I have a list of people who don't have email as it is. If you're a new volunteer and you don't do email, just give me a call and I'll pop you on the list of people we mail out to. We try to keep it to a minimum because it's expensive though. So yeah. There is a... Yeah. No. Yeah, no. So what we went through on this slide wasn't actually about signing up to shifts, it was just letting us know your availability. So you haven't signed up for any shifts at this point in time yet. Shifts will become available online later on in the year. I believe last year they were available in July. Mine are actually pretty much all ready to go, so they might be online earlier than that. Yeah, but we'll see how it goes. I'm still getting details through. So the thing that's different this year is there is a separate day for kiosk training. If you're only doing kiosk, you can just come to this one, not the other two. We'll do a full induction tour on that day as well. We need to have this other day because there will be training on the scanners that you'll be using in the kiosk. And they're not going to be on site until just before the show. So that's something that's different this year. Apparently there was feedback where people didn't know how to use the scanners or how to problem solve them when things went wrong with them. That's what this session is for. So, we also hold a morning tea as a thank you on the 22nd of October. Excellent, lovely. Sorry, I know we're running really late. Okay, so we've gone through a lot of these FAQs anyway. Will I be standing, this is the last slide by the way, will I be standing for 5 hours? Yes, no, it depends. Hopefully not, because you'll be having breaks and you can go get a cup of tea and a sit down, but if you've got the runner job, you'll be running around quite a lot, so there we go. If it's cold, can I wear a jumper? We prefer if you pop a long sleeve shirt underneath your polo shirt because we like you to be really visible in your blue shirt to be able to, exactly, there we go, up the back. Perfect example, thank you, lovely. Availability, we like you to put the earliest time you can start and the latest time you can finish. This doesn't, like I said before, letting us know your availability does not commit you to those days.
Just gone off.
Sorry.
We're out of time.
Yeah, we are, literally out of time. It's all about planning.
That's the last slide anyway.
It's the last slide anyway, yeah. So, what is the uniform? The uniform is a polo shirt, a hat, and a lanyard. We ask that you wear navy, black, or khaki, like sort of beigey coloured trousers with it. Another example up the front there, someone who's got a nice uniform on. Yes. There is a jacket available, that's my next little point down here. There's a jacket available to purchase. I'll get to your questions in a minute, sorry. There's a jacket available to purchase. So a lot of return volunteers like to purchase it. It's quite a thick, warm jacket because it can get quite cold and rainy, so it's a bit more water resistant. You can get your name embroidered on it as well. That is a cost. I haven't got my final quotes through yet, but it will be between $50 and $60, I think, by the look of things. That will be available for trying on and ordering, I'd say later on this month. So, excellent.
Good value for money, anyway. Yeah.
Excellent, there we go, good value for money. The only last thing I want to mention is shoes. So, please make sure your shoes are broken in before you start working at the show. I don't want anyone to have blisters on the first day. That would be bad. Trainers are acceptable to wear with your uniform. Just make sure they're not too scuffed, but that's fine. If that's the most comfortable and the most practical for you in your position, standing up or walking around, that's fine. Okay, that was it. The only other thing on there was my contact email address and phone number, but I think most people here have it because I've contacted you already. Are there any questions from the floor? Yep.
If we cover off police checks for current volunteers?
Okay, so police checks for current volunteers, they need to be valid for 2 years. I have a list of people whose certificates have expired already out the front, on the front desk. It's the same process as normal that you've done before. The instructions are on your My Volunteer page, and if you do have any questions, give me a buzz. Yep, I've had quite a few people get in touch with me already and get it started, so that's good. Any other questions, anyone? No. Sorry for running over time. I think it was some of the questions coming up, and Michelle took a bit longer than I thought, so excellent. I hope to see you all and you get in touch.